quite good on the camera. He talks a lot, but
no, not I'm getting a bit nervous sitting here.
Not talking much now.
The serious faces come on now. Welcome back guys to another video, and what I've got for you today is, as you can see behind me, 8P Audi S3. It's in quite a rare colour, which is quite evident there. It's an Imola yellow, however you pronounce it, and you don't really see them around in this sort of colour, but you don't see many, should I say. The yellow and the solar oranges were quite a rare sort of colour. So, and I've got like a really fine example of one here, and this had a few little bits and bobs done with it as well. We'll go through that on the actual walk around and the actual video. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles. We're on Instagram as well, performance_lifestyles, and Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. So there's plenty of performance car reviews on our YouTube channel, and there's plenty more content to come. So yeah, subscribe to the channel, help us grow, and just check out the content we've already got on there and whatever else we've got coming up as well. Right, so I've got Asif here with me today. It's Asif's Audi S3. He bought the car standard and then he's done a bit of work to it, and we'll go through what's actually been done. It's a pre-facelift car, so it's 2007. I think the facelift started in 2008. There's a few little subtle changes, headlights, and I think a couple of little things I can't remember exactly. But yeah, there was everything else mechanically, they're the same, practically the same thing. It was just like a facelift. But yeah, this car, it's quite a rare Imola yellow car, as I've mentioned. I'll let Asif go through what he's actually had done to it. He bought the car off as a standard-ish sort of car, and then he's taken it to the stage it's at now, and I believe it is a stage 2 plus. So if anybody, for all you VAG people out there and for non-VAG people alike, stage 2 plus on these cars, you're talking not much under 400 horsepower, which as standard, these cars, they're not the fastest cars on the road. They're not the most exciting cars on the road in that sense. They're 260 odd horsepower, and bear in mind they are 14 years old, so you can't really compare them to the newer Audi S3s. But as a 14-year-old Audi, S3, they're still a great car, but an even better car when you've modified them. And they do pull very, very nicely, especially when you're running, 380 odd horsepower. Asif, thank you very much for being on the channel.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. What have you actually had done to this car since buying it?
Well, to be honest with you, there isn't that much required for a stage 2 plus.
No,
it's pretty, when people think of stage 2 plus and they think it's a lot of modifications, but actually the main things are decat exhaust. You already had a Miltech back box on it.
Right.
High pressure fuel pump internals are changed.
Or you keep the standard casing.
Yeah, so the casing looks standard. It's the internals
yes.
that are changed. It's got a ram air filter on it with a hard pipe, oversized ram air filter.
Oh, because you get the little puny ones, don't you?
Yeah, you got the thin ones, and I don't actually know if there's that much difference in performance, but
probably not, but they look better.
It looks better, and for the cost difference, it probably makes sense. And obviously, if you do decide to go above stage 2 plus, then probably it would make some difference. There, other than that, there's a few little bits and bobs. RS4 return valve, I think it's called.
Oh,
and
yes.
They had a new cam follower, which isn't a upgraded one, but it's just a precaution. Spark plugs were changed. Again, not really an upgrade. I think it's just a precautionary thing. But other than that, I think that's about it. And then it was remapped. It was done at Artec, who are one of the best. I've got the best reviews for the TFSI engine.
Yeah, Artec definitely. I've heard. I mean, I've had dealings with cars in the past that I've had Artec tuning, and Artec are quite possibly one of the best tuners around the Midland sort of area. When it comes to these kind of cars, the Golf GTIs, the Mark 6 Golf Rs and stuff. I'm not too sure about the newer VAG cars. I'm sure they're still more than capable of actually tuning them cars, but these cars from this sort of era, any VAG performance car, Artec are like the best in the business. They are very, very good. Yeah. So yeah, it's a very good tuner to go to, because you can buy stuff cheaper, you get stuff done cheaper, but it won't necessarily be better. You'll have problems. It's like I mentioned on there's a Golf R video that we've got uploaded on our channel. Axel had a bit of work done on his Golf R.
And he didn't actually disclose who it was done by, but it was done by somebody who said they were good, but they clearly weren't very good because his car messed up. He had problems with his clutch and he had problems with the way it ran. So go to somebody, do it better the first time, and you only have to do it once. Because I know he had troubles running one place to another just to get, correcting stuff that was not done correctly in the first place. So yeah, I mean, Artec, so you've taken it to Artec, and it's they are the best in the business. So what sort of power figures are we talking on this?
Just under, I think, 369 horsepower, I think it was, to be precise, and 418 foot-pounds of torque.
They're good numbers, very good numbers.
Yeah.
It's very difficult nowadays. You get performance cars that run a lot more, but these cars, that sort of power figure. I remember I used to have an 8PS3 like this a few years back, and I had a few little run-ins with an Audi RS4. It was a 2013-14 RS4, and let's just put it this way: I think the guy must have gone home afterwards and sold his car, because his car was probably 50 grand car at the time. I was in a sub 10 grand sort of car, and it was like he just could not catch up. He could not keep up, and he couldn't catch up. So these things are really a handful at that sort of power. Honestly, it's very difficult to explain, but if you've ever had any dealings with these cars, you'll understand what I'm talking about. They're a quick car at 360 horsepower, well, 70 odd horsepower. I mean, 370 horsepower is a big number anyway, regardless of what other people have got in their cars. 370 horsepower is far more capable, enough power for the roads.
Yeah.
You could go stage 3, mid 400 horsepower, but then I'm sure there's something to do with forged internals, and then you're talking, it's a massive step up financially from a stage 2. You're spending another 6-7 grand or something potentially if you're forging your engine, but then you weigh everything up, you may as well just get a Golf R then, or an Audi S3 8V shape, because it will cost you similar sort of money, and they could take 400 horsepower easily.
Yeah, I think off camera we were talking, and this is Audis generally have not really, it's not something I've really looked at and thought, oh yeah, I want to buy an Audi. And especially not the S3, because as standard form, as you said, I think they're a bit underwhelming. So
yes, they are.
Decent platform, they've got 4-wheel drive, quattro. They have got actually a good engine, but at standard form, 260, 265 horsepower, it's not very much, and it doesn't feel that very much either. But at stage 2 plus, again, it's not the fastest car, and it's probably not the most exciting car because of the quattro. It's stable and it does handle well,
yes.
But it's not. It doesn't fill you with confidence, and it doesn't. It's not exciting. Let's say it does fill you with confidence, but it's not exciting. However, this is a manual car, which comes with its own problems, which we'll come to in a bit. But it does have that involvement because of it. It is a manual, so you can still have full control of what gear you're in and all that kind of stuff, which I think you lose a little bit with paddles and whatever. It's
S-tronic on the 8P shape as well, is it? It's not the DSG boxes or anything, and it's they are meant to be okay, but they're very controlling. You can't do a lot of things, which is, I suppose, good in a way. But the manual gearboxes on these, they're a good box. Like Asif said, they give you full control of what gear you're in and what you're doing with the car, as opposed to controlling, limiting everything. And
this is a really good. This is probably overpraising it, but it reminds me ever so slightly of an Evo 5 I used to have. So off camera, we've been talking for a while about cars we've had in the past and whatever. And if I could have one car that I've now sold, it would be my Evo 5 for sure. And this isn't. I'm not saying this is in the class of an Evo 5, but it kind of reminds me of that. It's a 2-litre turbo. It's 4-wheel drive. It's a manual. And I think if this wasn't a manual, I think I'd probably be bored of it. And I think so I think just the ability to change gears, drop gears, and whatever. I think it's just, I don't know, feel more engaged and you feel more part of the car.
Far more engaging. I'm getting a bit old now, so I'm probably getting a bit lazy. But I actually do like these newer automatic dual clutch systems. They're great, but they do take that big element of driver control out of the actual experience, the whole driving experience of the car. A manual car is always better. I mean, as Asif's actually ripped me for it, I'm actually quite a big Honda fan, and I love these, these VTECs and Type Rs and stuff, anything, FD2s and the newer ones, great cars. And Honda have actually done it right. They've stuck to manuals with everything. So the newer ones, they might actually change them to automatics, but a manual is.
There's a reason Honda have stayed with manual, and they're happy to do that. It's because they don't have any torque. When you've got a car with no torque, then manual gearboxes and clutches and stuff are sufficient.
Yes.
The reason a lot of cars now are moving to dual clutch and autos is for the torque. So I guess Honda are okay because most of the cars don't have more than 200 foot-pounds of torque, right?
We'll probably get ripped for that, but no, I love them.
You know what? By the way, I've got nothing against Honda. Yeah, it's a personal preference thing, and I do like Jap cars. However, yeah, I think as standard Hondas, in my opinion, the reason I've been ripping them is that they don't have the torque and they don't have that the power. I think that they deserve. I think the chassis deserve more power,
yes,
and more torque.
Definitely.
And it's a shame they don't come with more power and torque.
No, that's why there's a lot of boosted K20s about, and they actually very, very good. There's actually an EK9 video up on our channel which is supercharged, and that was running 350, if I remember correctly, horsepower. It's a great car. It was a very, very fun car. No power steering and no electric windows and nothing. Awesome car to drive, but to live with on a daily basis, maybe not. Not in this day and age anyway. You don't want to be winding your windows up and down. You just want to press a button. And like I said, that's probably an age thing as well, getting too old for this stuff.
Well, we'll add to that story. So I'm probably getting too old also, because a few months ago, before I bought this, I bought a Civic Type R EP3.
EP3, yes.
Which I spoke to Nav about, and we were like, yeah, I'm going to buy one. I'm going to get it boosted. And it sounded like a really good plan. And in younger years, I really liked, I had an Evo, I've had a Starlet Turbo, I've had Japanese cars that I've really enjoyed, and they've been more fun than probably the German alternatives. However, I bought the car after looking for 2-3 months for a clean one. I viewed 2 or 3.
And they were rust buckets.
They were rust buckets. Even this one was a rust bucket, but I didn't think it was when I bought it. Anyway, so I bought the car, and yeah, I wasn't very impressed with it. So in the end, I sold it after a week. I advertised it after a week, and it was sold after 2 weeks of owning it. And maybe it's the age thing, because it was so loud. It was, as a daily car, it was just too much.
Too much, yes.
And I didn't want to then spend 5-6 grand on boosting it, and then still have that thing of when I'm daily driving it, it's clattering your teeth and all that. So I don't know, if it had the performance to match, maybe I would have changed my mind. But it was all show, no go, if you want to, if that's a statement that you want to use,
I think it is there. I think if you had bought one that was already boosted, it would have been a different story. But because you bought a standard-ish one, 200 horsepower, it's not, that much power. And EP3s, to be fair, are known. They're a very, very good car. And but I personally don't think they deserve the R badge. The FD2s, on the other hand, are a completely different animal. EK9s again, the same thing. And the newer generation FK2s and FK8s, they're great cars. They're actually very, very good cars. Over 300 horsepower, and they're just absolutely awesome cars, and tuning potential on them is great. But they do, obviously, they're a completely different sort of car, but they're very, very good. They almost brought back the Type R feel. But back to this S3. So it's basically running stage 2 power, 370 odd horsepower. So, what we'll do is we'll go for a little drive now, just to give you guys a feel of what this actually goes like and actually feels like to drive. Right, so we're back in this Audi S3, and I think Asif's going to try scaring me, which he probably will, because I'm a complete and utter rubbish passenger. I hate being a passenger in a car, and
I'm a bit like that though. I'd rather be driving than be a passenger. Yes, because obviously then you're in control.
You're in control. Yes, this is the main thing. But no, this thing, to be fair, it's a quick car. It's a very, very quick car. And with it being an Audi Quattro as well, it's got the legendary Quattro 4-wheel drive system. They grip and go. It doesn't matter of, as long as it's not iced up and stuff, these literally grip and go. And you can hear the filter sucking in the air. I don't know how good it'll pick it up on the actual mic, but you can hear the filter sucking in the air, and it sounds great. Honestly, this thing sounds very, very good. It's not overly loud. You don't want something that's, like Asif said, he needs it as a daily car. So you don't want something that's going to be rattling your teeth and it's just going to be a loud noise all the time. So as soon as you open it up a bit, this thing just sounds, I think it sounds amazing. It sounds very, very good. I'm having to hold on. This thing is very quick. Peugeot driving in front of me saved me.
Yeah, it's quite in the way a little bit, to be fair, but...
No, do you know what? Honestly, this, like I said, like there, just going around the bends there, and you know, it was a bit of a spirited drive, and it's pulls and goes.
Not talking much now.
The serious faces come on now.
I can't talk some driving, but you're not driving, so what's yours?
Oh, this honestly, this car feels awesome. Great, honestly, this thing feels epic. Just the way it's just going around them bends, and just the way it's the way it delivers the power. And I know there's a bit of an issue with this car as well that Asif is looking to get resolved. The clutch is actually on its last legs. It's slipping ever so slightly at higher RPM. Couldn't really feel it too much there, but it is slipping. So when it's had an upgraded clutch as well, the bite will be a lot sharper. It will be a lot more snappier when you're on throttle.
Yeah.
So I think when that's done as well, this car will be even better. And I think a stage 3 upgrade was something on the cards as well. But I don't know, my personal opinion is if you're spending that much money, you can buy yourself a different car out of the box, still stick with a VAG, a Golf 4 or a newer S3, and you'll have the power there automatically, and it will just be less hassle than spending all this money on a car that you're never really going to claw back. So, but again, it's each to their own, you know, it depends on what you want out of your car. But no, this thing, honestly, this thing is fantastic. When you're driving them yourself and spiritedly and a bit heavy-footed, you don't really necessarily feel the true extent of it because you're in control. It's a bit of an odd one if you understand what I'm saying, but it's when you're a passenger, it's like, whoa, you're holding on for dear life, and it's like, damn, I hope this guy can handle this car, but I trust him, otherwise I won't be sitting here letting him drive like that. And no, I'm well impressed.
I think, to be fair, it's probably, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but when I was looking to buy a car, it was something that was needed to be sub 10k, and for a sub 10k car, you know, even with the mods that buy the car, it's low mileage. There's not that much in the bracket, I think, that, you know, would tick all them boxes of being comfortable. You know, it's still got heated seats, it's still got all them kind of, you know,
yes,
nice
it's an Audi,
features, if you want to call it that. But it's still, you know, it's as quick as most things on the B road, relatively fun. I suppose it ticks a lot of boxes, doesn't it?
They most certainly tick a lot of boxes, these cars, and like I said, you can't beat it. You get everything. It's like a very good overall package for less than £10,000, and it's even got good brake cells. We've just realised.
Yeah, we just got a lorry coming towards us, so did need to test the brakes.
Yeah, I did think we were going to beat this lorry. But no, sub 10k cars, these S3s, 8Ps are great. I know the prices have gone up on these cars recently as well, as with most performance cars, but they can still be had for a decent price. And it brings that grin out automatically. Sitting in this passenger seat, I'm feeling a bit more relaxed now. Sitting here like a little Cheshire cat and just...
Road killing the road there.
That wasn't us.
No, that wasn't us. No animals were harmed in this video.
No. It sounds awesome when you put your foot down. Like I mentioned, it's not shouting. It's not, you know, shouting straight down your ear hole, which is what you want. You want it to be refined and comfortable and smooth and quiet on normal driving. But the moment, you know, your lead foot kind of like engages, it's a nice roar. And I believe this is the resonated Miltech system on it, or the back boxes anyway. It's not the in-your-face loud ASBO one.
Yeah, it is, and I suppose with when they had the decap put on, it does raise the volume, but it's not drown. It doesn't, when you're driving, you know, 60, 70 miles an hour, it doesn't a drone or anything. You know, it's not not too loud. It's still you know, you can drive it at 70 and you won't hear a thing.
Yeah.
So I was quite impressed with the brakes.
They come with the massive calipers.
Yeah.
They don't look like your 4-pots and, you know,
No.
you get in a lot of other cars, like your Brembos and stuff, should I say.
Yeah.
But the actual calipers on these cars, they're massive, and the brakes on them are great.
Yeah.
They're very, very good. You almost get that feel like it's going to throw you out the windscreen if you slam them on too hard.
Yeah. You know what I found though, is you don't get much brake fade. So
Okay.
you know on the BM and stuff, and a lot of, I think maybe it's because it's not the heaviest of cars.
Yeah.
On the BMs, if you drive them hard for 5 or 10 minutes,
Oh, you start getting
and
a lot of...
yeah, it gets hot, and the brakes start, you know, the pedal feel gets a bit funny, and you know, you can tell the braking is limited. Whereas with these, I found at the moment, I've never had any brake fade, no matter how hard I've driven it for, you know, 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. You know, driving it quite hard, and
There's nothing
it's
at all.
gonna be perfect. Yeah.
I think
so-
it almost could be down to the brake pads, it could be down to anything, but generally these things are... They need the stopping power. A lot of people start modifying their cars, and then when it comes to the brakes are still a bit ropey. But on these, you don't really have to look into that too much unless you're looking, you know, 500 horsepower rod. Then you start. But anything stage 2 plus, brakes are perfect.
Yeah.
Brakes on
I'd
these
agree,
Audi S3s are absolutely perfect. So the drive on this thing, even driving it normal, it's an Audi S3. Even though it's, you know, there's 14 years old, but you still cannot beat the drive on these. They're like a very refined car. It's an Audi, as I mentioned in my other previous videos with the Audis. It's an Audi at the end of the day. They're very comfortable, very refined, very smooth. This got that Bose sound system, heated leather, heated half leather seats, a full leather, and was an option on these cars. But at this time of the year, it's probably better not to have that. Otherwise, you get into the car in the morning on a cold day, and you freeze your backside off. By the time your heated seats are kicked in, it's you're already stuck to the seat, so it's no good. But yeah, generally speaking, they're a very good car. Flat bottom steering was a great feature, and they're multifunction. They've got everything you need on these cars. Dual climate control, sat nav was an option on these cars as well. This doesn't actually have the sat nav, but saying that, they've never been a good unit on the Audi cars. What I thought, the latest Audis might have, you know, one of the best systems on there, but the Audis from, you know, even 5 years ago, I don't rate the sat nav on them just like a lot of other cars, but it's just a good feature to have, and it's and you got stage 2. Oh yeah, feel the clutch.
The clutch, yeah. It's only really in 3rd, 4th when you kind of feel it.
I think when the clutch is actually changed on this thing will be a savage.
Yeah.
You do feel it, especially on the passenger side. I didn't really get it.
When you drive it, you feel
drive
it,
it,
yeah.
You can tell it's early stages of.
I knew
losing.
I knew it was going to be at some stage. It was going to happen.
Yes. I think it's a
it's
common
just,
thing with these cars. 8P Audi S3s, you could have a brand new clutch. I mean, this car, if I remember correctly, had a clutch in it not long ago.
I think it was about 5,000 miles before I bought it.
Yeah.
I've only done probably 1,000 miles or something since I've had
And
it.
it's
So.
already starting to slip. The thing with these cars is the moment you start modifying, a lot of people have had issues with their clutches. It's gone to stage 1 on a perfectly fine clutch, and all of a sudden it's slipping. And I think you've lasted quite well for 1,000 miles on a stage 2 sort of clutch, standard clutch, stage 2 power. That is the only flaw on these cars when it comes to modifying them. So the moment you go a remap, even, always consider in the back of your mind that you will have to get a clutch done. And I know the clutch is probably going to cost you more than the actual remap, but it is something that will have to get done.
I think in fairness though, if you know, if you look at it, it's got an extra 100 horsepower, I don't know, 120 foot-pounds of torque over standard. So I don't know, most cars I'd guess that are manuals, you know, you probably do need to change the clutch or upgrade it at that kind of power anyway. So although they are known for having particularly weak clutches,
Yes.
you know, if you're modifying a car above, you know, 120 foot-pounds of torque, you probably expect to change the clutch.
You've
I
got
think.
a nice sporty Fiesta on top of the standard Audi S3 power.
Yeah.
Look at it like that, so you do need another clutch.
Yeah, so you're doing the dual clutch, right?
We could do, yeah, that would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Imagine that, a manual car, 2 pedals. press both buttons. I don't think we'll go anywhere.
Yeah,
I think that's
that
idea's flopped already.
Yeah, definitely.
Flopped. No, this car is, like I said, the last time I drove an AP S3 that was modified was probably a good few years ago, and it was impressive to say the least. Very impressive. Like I mentioned on the actual intro, there was a little run-in with an Audi RS4, and it completely annihilated this RS4, and you can see why. The way they put the power down, the NA RS4s they're a good car, don't get me wrong, I'm not slating them in that sense, but you have to wring their necks off just to get them going. And we should have a video of a B7 Audi RS4 coming up on the channel soon as well, so do watch out for that. Like I mentioned always, you know, subscribe to our YouTube channel, click on the bell notification just so you know when we've uploaded another video. Share the video, like the video, help us grow.
Feels faster in the passenger seat.
Definitely.
When you're driving
there you
yourself,
go. This car is quick. It's refined quickness as well. NA cars, Germans, refined quickness, you don't get that pull on them, but anything turbocharged, and it does give you that sense of, it pulls you back in your seat, more so as a passenger than a driver. As a driver, you expect it to come on boost anytime now anyway, but when you're a passenger and you don't expect it, it almost does catch you by surprise at times. It is. For, like Asif mentioned, for sub £10,000, I'd say you'd be hard pushed to find a car that will provide this much power, this much grip, and this much, you know, comfort, all in one package. You'd be very, very hard pushed to find something like that. And I mean, it's a four-wheel drive Quattro Audi. You just don't get that in anything else. You could buy your two-wheel drives, anything VAG really. At the moment, I'd say is about right for anything sub 10k, big power numbers, torque VAG, best cars for you.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure about the look of the Evo 10 though.
The Evo 10s are, they're a nice car. We have got actually a video coming up on our channel of an Evo 10. I've already filmed it. It's a very nice car, let's just put it that way. We'll leave all that to the actual video. It's a very nice car, but yeah, I think they need a bit of a kick up the arse, should we say, just to get that enjoyment, that you know, that fun factor back into them.
Yeah, I think the older ones, you know, with just a map really, are pretty impressive.
Perfect. They're honestly perfect, yeah, with a map. And I think the one that I did actually review was a completely standard Evo, so it's do check that out when it's uploaded. It will be in the next couple of weeks or so. It's just finding time to actually get all the work done, because a lot of work goes into all of this. Like me and Asif were discussing earlier on, it just seems like a little quick 15-minute video, but 15-minute video takes, you know, hours and hours and hours just to get everything into place.
And I think even from an editing point of view, if you've ever done any editing or you know, any video creation or anything like that, you'll know that, you know, if you've got a 15-minute video, you've spent probably 5 or 6 hours editing that video and getting it to a standard worth people watching. So
yeah, definitely. And even then, there's going to be stuff in there that you're going to have missed out. So you're never going to please everybody, but it's just getting it to a level where you think, yeah, this is
good enough to watch, right? And people are getting a good review of a car.
Yes.
You know, anyone watching generally, I think, is going to be a car person.
Right. So Asif's also got his own clothing range going, and what I will do is I'll put a link of his website in the description as well. So please do check that out. There's a lot of stuff on there, so I'm sure there's going to be something on there that you may like, may or may not like. But if you do, do check him out, give him a hand. He's only new to that thing as well, so he's only just recently started this brand off. So any help will be massively appreciated. So please do check that out. The company is called
One and Only Garments.
One and Only Garments.
We're on Facebook, Instagram. We've got our own website. I'm sure.
Yeah. So I'll put the links in. Yeah, I'll put the links to all of his social media accounts and his website in the actual description. So please do actually check him out.
So yeah, thank you very much for watching the video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for Asif to, you know, bringing this car down here, letting us video this car. And yeah, subscribe to our YouTube channel for more performance car reviews. We've got plenty of videos uploaded on our channel, and we've got plenty of other content to come. So, and if you would like your car on the actual channel, then please do drop us an email at pflifestyle@hotmail.com. I'll put the actual email on the bottom of the screen here, and it's always in the description anyway. So drop us an email. You know, it doesn't have to be anything formal. It's just a quick, casual, just a little drive, and just to give your cars a bit of a show as well, and give us a bit of content. So yeah, thank you very much for watching the video, and as per usual, guys, stay safe, and we will catch you on the next one.